Hi guys! Now that you are all pros at using dichotomous keys to key out organisms, now we're going to focus on making dichotomous keys. And so that's what this video is about, how to make a Looking back, we have 6 pairs of shoes, right? A dichotomous key is always going to have one fewer steps than there are items. So there's 5 steps in our key because we have 6 items. So however many items you're including in your key, you can go ahead right off the bat and set up all the steps you need. You just see how many items you have that you want to key out and do one fewer steps than that. And since it's a dichotomous key, that means there's 2 choices at each step. So for each step, you're going to have an A and a B. A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. So we have 6 pairs of shoes, 5 steps, A and a B option at each. Next step is to separate all the items into 2 groups for that first step of the key. And so if we look at our shoes, there's our 6 pairs of shoes. And I chose to divide them by having heels and not having heels, or high heels. So you can see there's 2 pairs that have high heels, the rest are flat. So those are our 2 groups. And then after you've done that, you're going to, for step 4, follow the first option all the way through. And what I mean by that is you take that first option, shoe has high heels, and you tell the keyer outer where to go next. So logical step is to go to the next step. Go to step 2. Okay. So now we take those 2 that did have high heels and we tell the keyer outer what to do with those. So the first option has red soles, so we wanted to take those 2 that did have high heels and figure out, well, what separates them. You could pick the color of the shoe. You could pick the fact that this is a solid heel. That's a like a stiletto heel. There's the under of the shoe color, the sole color. So this one says shoe has red soles. Those are the Christian Louboutin stilettos. And then the shoe has solid heels and 2 straps. Those would be the wedges. So in this case, we just needed to go one step further from that first step. We just had to go to the second step, and we keyed out all of the shoes that were in that one that very first option. So we're done with that step now. If there were 3 different shoes with high heels, we would need an extra step, and we'll see that with when we follow through the group that doesn't have high heels next. So first though, you take the first option and you follow it all the way through till you've keyed out all of those, and then you're going to go back to the second option of the first step. So we go back to the first step now and follow the second option, that second option being shoe does not have high heels. And so we already used step 2, right? So for this option, we're going to go to step 3. And now you again want to look at all the ones that didn't have heels, so all the flat shoes. There's these 2 and these 2. And again, we want to divide them into 2 groups. And so the 2 groups I chose were has laces, because these have laces and these have laces. And then these 2 don't have laces. So we take the option of the shoe having laces, and we're going to follow that all the way through till we've keyed everybody out. So for shoes that have laces, we say go to the next step. And then of the 2 that have laces, how do we want to divide those? I said has a swoosh and doesn't have a swoosh, the Nike swoosh there. So the one that has a swoosh is the Nike Air Force Ones. The shoe that lacks a swoosh, that means doesn't have a swoosh, those are the Sperry topsiders. So now for the next step, we need to go back to that. We followed through the shoes that had laces, so now we have to talk about the shoes that do not have laces. And so the only step we have open now to fill in is step 5. So we say the ones that don't have laces go to step 5. And so we have these shoes and these shoes that are flat bottom, don't have laces. And so the way that I separated them was the height. So I said shoes that are calf high, those are the UGG boots, and the ones that are low and do not reach the ankle, those are the Toms. So now you see here that we have keyed out all 6 of our shoes using 5 different steps, 2 options at each step, And remember, the important thing to making a key is that you follow through your first option each time. So when you separate them into two groups and follow through your first option all the way through till you've keyed out all of the ones that apply to the first option. Then you go back and you key out all the ones that, or you fill in the key for all the ones that apply to the second option. If you are still a little unclear on how exactly to do this, you might have to go back and watch again. It might be helpful to watch this as you're completing your key for your own species, which we're going to work on in class tomorrow. Have a great night.